Introducing the Norseman Horseman Nightcrawler. In addition to making a mutant champion a horseman using Apocalypse's pre-fight here, we could also make them a Norseman. This is a term, I think it was coined by Cat Murdoch, or it might have been someone else. Sorry if I'm giving credit to the wrong person, but it has a nice ring to it, the Norseman Horseman. So I'm going to go ahead and pop all of these buffs, and then we're going to go into this fight with Nightcrawler here and just see how it goes. Nightcrawler, he actually has some Furies that can benefit from the aptitudes. It's part of his Awaken ability. This is the content creator beta, by the way. I don't have a SIG 200 6-star Nightcrawler, but I just wanted to have a little bit of fun. And I've got a full team set up here. I'll go through some of the synergies after this first fight, and then we're going to do another fight as well, you know, with class advantage. So this one is just neutral. We're already halfway through Realm of Legends, though. Let's see some damage out of Nightcrawler for a change, since this guy, you know, he normally isn't necessarily known for being the top mutant champion or the top anything champion. Jeez, look at my buff bar. This is ridiculous how many buffs I actually have. So Nightcrawler, he's got a few things going on. He's got this instant bleed mechanic. You see those numbers that pop up in red? It's whenever I land a critical hit. Let's get a special 2 rolling here too. Okay, 21,000. That was actually pretty good damage. Wow. Dude, I wish Nightcrawler was legit this good without having to send him to the moon. I don't have any boosts on or anything like that, but I do have Suicide Masteries on, which is no problem, of course, with the Horseman of Apocalypse, giving me that bleed resistance. Still taking some recoil damage, but that's not really that big a deal. And yeah, the damage is actually pretty decent. He's definitely not as strong as some of his other mutant counterparts, but that was a 51,000 crit at a special 2. What was the total number? I couldn't even see it behind all those buffs. Okay, so 70 hits. That's not too bad, right? That's pretty good. I was a huge fan of Nightcrawler from the X-Men arcade game days, and I was kind of bummed that when he got added to MCOC, it was mostly a defender. But he does have some offensive potential. You see, he starts out in his defensive mode, but he also has a swashbuckling mode that he turns to, and this mode gives him precision buffs, increasing his crit rating. Those precision buffs, by the way, increased by Odin's aptitude buff. And the crit rating that he has, it's really important because most of his damage comes from those critical hits and the bleeds, the instant bleeds from them. See, it says here, Nightcrawler's Colors has a 70% chance to strike an instant bleed, passively dealing about 1,600 bleed damage instantly. Of course, that's boosted by your attack, and Nightcrawler's attack is boosted by his Awaken ability, where he's going to gain these Fury buffs anytime he does land a critical hit, or strikes an instant bleed, I should say, which increases his attack by about 1,200. So these abilities, they synergize together pretty nicely. Back in a time when this character came out, and abilities, honestly, they didn't synergize together all that well all the time. And then he got some synergies later on when Havoc got added to the game. You can see here for Nightcrawler, begin the fight in swashbuckling mode, so you no longer have to activate it. You just start out in that offensive mode. And while in this mode, his chance to instant bleed is increased by a flat 30%. So every single time you crit, it's going to be an instant bleed, which means every single time you crit, you gain a Fury buff, which that Fury buff is also affected by the aptitude that you get from Odin. Then it goes one step further here with Professor X on the team, and if we take a look at the synergy that Professor X has with Nightcrawler, you increase the bleed potency by 30%. So those instant bleeds, they're actually pretty legit. And now I want to fight this Black Panther. We got class advantage here. My health is a little bit low. I don't know. Yeah, it looks like I'm right around the 50% mark, but I'm actually going to heal up a little bit from having that bleed resistance and willpower for being a Horseman of the Apocalypse. But let's see how this goes with the class advantage here against Black Panther. I'm at 52%. I only have 1 point in courage anyway if I dip below. But man, those instant bleeds, look at that. Instant bleeds for like 6,000, 7,000 bonus damage when I have those Furies. Oh, it's so good. Wow, man. If Nightcrawler, if only you didn't need an entire team to support you in this attack boosting endeavor. Whew, wow, so good. Dude, please, kabam, please buff this guy so that he doesn't actually need an entire team behind him. Just make some of these abilities baseline or something. I use a special one just so that I take some recoil damage and actually dip below that threshold. That was a 10k medium, another 10k medium, because you're getting a cruelty buff from the special one. Let's finish this off with a big special 2 right here, man. Here we go. Special 2. No, I didn't get any crits. Oh, Nightcrawler, why? Where are the crits, man? All right, there we go, though. That was pretty sweet. All right, what was the final hit count there? Looks like it's 62 hits. Okay, not too bad. You know, it's not the lowest number we've ever seen. But considering Nightcrawler, he is mostly considered that, you know, as a defender in this game. I wasn't boosted, so we could have upped the damage numbers a little bit more. But this is already kind of unrealistic, bringing in an entire team backing up Nightcrawler anyway. But yeah, man, I just wanted to have some fun. Because like I said, Nightcrawler, he doesn't really get any love. And I had all that love for him back in the X-Men arcade game days. So I just... so you guys know, I did look through every single mutant champion to see who else would be good as a Norseman Horseman, and there really aren't too many options. I'm just going to go through the entire list that I have here on Anime. So Colossus, he actually benefits because Odin's pre-fights affect his armor, and based on Colossus's armor rating, he actually does increase his attack. However, one of his attack increases where he gains some crit damage rating, that actually counts for each armor up buff. So he only gains a little bit of a bonus here for having Odin on the team. Kabam, they really tried to make it so that not too many champions benefited from both pre-fights, I think. So Cyclops, believe it or not, he has like a little bit of a crit rating boost on his special attacks. Same thing for the other Cyclops. Iceman technically has an ice armor, but he doesn't really gain any benefit from Odin. Magneto, he actually on his special 3 gains a fury buff. So Magneto, he actually just got a little bit stronger, believe it or not. Popping the Odin pre-fights for Magneto in something like the incursions could be really nice before you just cut Odin out of the team. This Magneto, unfortunately, does not gain the same thing. He gains a cruelty buff, which is not affected by the aptitude from Odin's buffs. Aptitude, I believe it's just fury, precision, and armor up. I think those are the 3. Mr. Sinister, he actually has a little bit of a precision buff for his heavy attack, but that's not really anything. Namor, unfortunately, the Furies that he gains here, it's passive. Otherwise, that would have been a massive boost because he already gains so much attack from the special that, yeah, 15% of 9,000 is actually pretty decent. So that would have been cool, but unfortunately doesn't. Old Man Logan is another example of a champion that he actually does probably gain a nice benefit, a nice boost from Odin. Where he gains all these fury buffs, and adding another 15% to that's pretty solid. But at the same time, it's Old Man Logan. You know, he's not really known for being one of the strongest mutants, but somebody could definitely have some fun with that. Rogue steals buffs, and today I would say Rogue's her buff or replicates them. Her buff replicate, it doesn't really last that long, but I could see if they actually buffed Rogue, then using the Odin pre-fights with Rogue, and also turning into a Horseman Norseman Rogue, that could be pretty fun in the future. Sabretooth's really interesting because, you know, when I first thought about Sabretooth, I thought, well, his Furies, they all turn into passives, right? They're buffs, but they have a short duration, and you have to turn them into a passive. So does Odin have any effect? I mean, he doesn't have any effect on the passives, but if he's buffing up the potency of the Furies originally, does that mean you get to carry over the new higher attack rating into the passive? I actually don't know how that works, but when converting that buff, maybe there's something there. It'll be a little bit hard to test, so I don't really plan on testing it myself, but if anyone wants to take the time, that'd be a cool one to test. And then of course we have Nightcrawler, which, like I said, you know, this is really the best example of someone really benefiting, where first off, his awaken ability, he's getting these increased attack. It just says increased attack, but they're actually fury buffs if you watch the gameplay. And then because of his critical hits, everything just kind of synergizes together. So he actually does gain a benefit from the precision boost, the 15% precision boost and 15% fury boost, and he was actually hitting some pretty good numbers there. But it's not really a case of practicality here. If you want to see a more practical example of Odin actually boosting up a champ, I made a video yesterday with Angela. This one was purely just for fun because I have some love for Nightcrawler. But that'll do it for this video. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.